Welcome to Mustache Piece Theater. What's that, Sparky? Want some peanuts? Here we go, boy.
Let's play.
Let's play indeed. Okay, that's good, Seymour. We at the Gary Kinnischuk Television Network strive to bring you the best quality programming available anywhere. And with that, tonight we present for you the epic miniseries 1979. This was the year that Rusalka embarked on that life-changing tour of Scotland and Ukraine. A tour that took place thanks to the vision and dedication of our administrators at the time, Judge Ben Huak, Walter Olach Romaniu, Kay Kuzik, and Roman Monastersky. Very sadly, none of them are with us at this time, but we dedicate this film to them. This mini-series will utilize archival footage from a number of different sources, but primarily from the late, great Gary Kinnischuk, the founder of GKTV. We thank him for hauling that very heavy CBC equipment across Europe that epic summer. He was also assisted in the camera work by Ken Bailey. So we at GKTV have taken this old film and we've digitized it. And we've also borrowed, we wouldn't say stolen or plagiarized, but borrowed some additional footage from a number of other sources. The 25th anniversary gala video by Randy Kohuch and Jonathan Kaki. The 55th anniversary video by Leanne Coruscant and Simon Rusnak. The Heart and Soul, The Spirit of Rusalka, produced by David Wochuk. And us at GKTV have added more than 200 contemporary interview segments with some of the participants from that year. Now you will note that the variety of digital and audio sources means there might not be a consistent quality to the piece. Okay, so maybe this isn't art, but it is history. I believe you will find this trip down memory lane both serious, funny, and maybe a little bit outrageous. But after all, we were, and perhaps still are, a little bit outrageous. So ladies and gentlemen, the Gary Kinnischuk Television Network proudly brings you the miniseries 1979. I just use the chair for respect.
Said that the time spent in the cramped hallway washroom with Treista Musica, when he realized Ben had tears in his eyes, was a moment he'll never forget. Linda Swiderski had tears in her eyes when we left her at the airport in Kiev and flew to Moscow without her. Once again, Ben prevailed, and she did return with us to Canada.
Okay, Brenda, just to let you know,
Yeah.
people are going to talk. Other people are going to talk about the infamous leaving behind of Linda Swiderski in Kyiv when we flew to Moscow. And the group had set up a very elaborate and carefully planned buddy system so that we would never miss other people.
Right.
Rumor has it that Linda was your buddy. What the hell happened?
Linda's always been my buddy. But on that particular trip, the buddy system was as follows. You always checked in, made sure your buddy was safe. They made sure you're safe. So fast forward to boarding the plane to Moscow. I assume Linda was with me, but I was probably sidetracked with everything else that was going on. So we...
And in your defense,
Yes.
when we did get to Moscow, there was 4 or 5 people that swear they saw Linda on the plane.
100%.
Okay?
I'm sure I was one of them.
Yeah.
And as it happened, she not only didn't get on that plane, she had to find a way to get to Moscow out of her own volition. And she didn't speak Ukrainian well, if at all. And how she magically got to the sign-in desk in Kiev is like beyond me, or in Moscow is beyond me. And I was just like, I am sorry. I am so sorry, Linda. Please, I apologize.
Has she ever forgiven you?
No, but there was a little bit of a payback on that
Oh,
particular
okay, let's
trip.
hear that.
Yeah. We had a group tour to Shevchenko Memorial.
Yeah, at Kanyev, yes.
Yes, and it was, so emotionally charged, such an important moment in time. But I decided to wander off and sit on a bench and just watch people. And little did I notice that the rest of the group had boarded the bus to take everyone to lunch. And I'm going, finally, 30 minutes passes by, I'm going, where's everybody? I'm looking around, not a soul that I recognized.
And where was your buddy?
On the bus to lunch. And
So-
all I knew was the word pektopa. This is how I interpret in restaurant. Pektopa with the Cyrillic.
The r for pa, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm asking people, pektopa. Pektopa. They're looking at me like you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And then finally, one of our tour guides came back to collect me. And so the two of us, had a check-in. After that, it was like, is Linda here? Yep. Is Brenda here? Yep. The two of us were lost from each other just those 2 occasions. But that was enough to pepper the rest of the tour.
And yet, thank you. Thank you for the confession.
Some of the stories that were recited were complete, some were incomplete, some will remain incomplete. There was a lot of fun, a lot of hard work too, a lot of worry. I have to say this, that my greatest worry when I was involved with Rusalka was when we lost Linda Swiderski in Moscow. And I was thinking, how am I going to tell her dad? But that too was an experience.
Okay, Zelensky, this is hot seat time. When I interviewed Brenda, she openly admitted that the buddy system failed. But the rumor mill has it that the reason Brenda forgot about Linda was that she was preoccupied with one Don Selinsky. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I do, because in my own defense, Brenda was very friendly, and we got to become closer friends during the beginning of the trip in England and in Scotland, and as a result wanted to join me in a seat on this last leg of the trip.
I just kind of forgot about Swiderski.
Yeah, so it just happened that we walked out to the plane. It was basically a ground-based plane. We walked up the steps, and not once did it come up that she was wondering where Linda Swiderski was.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
And behind in Kyiv, and we didn't discover this until we got to Moscow.
Well, we saw the suitcases.
Yes.
And then, of course, 5 people remember seeing Swiderski on the plane. For sure, like, oh yeah, Linda was on the plane. For sure she was on the plane. It was just a schmoz. There are so many legendary stories about how we tragically left you behind in Kiev on the way to Moscow. And after all this time, it's time to clear the air. Let's get the true story. Go.
Happy to share this beautiful story to us. I've entitled it Linda's Golden Opportunity Story. The gift of beautiful rose gold earrings, precious to me then and to this day, from my maternal grandmother's elderly sister in Ternopil, triggered a series of circumstances that led to a very unexpected and challenging personal story involving bureaucratic and very official airport rules and staff, stressful hours alone in a foreign country, and the kind-hearted intervention of a tour guide, all of which closes with a happy ending and some shared tears of joy and relief. As you've said, the journey from Kiev Airport to the hotel in Moscow is a story unto itself. I was unsure how to take these precious earrings home successfully, knowing that this type of gold was not allowed out of the country at that time. I initially thought I would place them in my luggage, but I didn't want to risk having them confiscated. That morning, as I tied up my long hair in a bun, I concealed them inside.
Nice.
Prepared to say if I set off a metal scanner that I had metal bobby pins in my hair.
So how did you do that?
I utilized a sponge hair curler, placed them in the middle of this sponge, and rolled it in my hair. I wrapped the hair around it, tied it securely with bobby pins, and there it was.
And the bobby pins?
The bobby pins were there as if I happened to set off this detector, I had an alibi to say, oh, these must be my bobby pins.
This is a very skilled approach. So what exactly what were the items? Were these earrings, rings?
These were earrings.
Earrings, okay.
These were 2 gold earrings, the drop style with a little sort of a gold pendant at the bottom. And she had bought these for me with her own money. I offered to pay her for them, but she declined.
Yeah.
And when we got speaking, I recognized that the amount of money on the price tag that was in this box that the earrings were in was the equivalent of 2 months' pension for her.
Wow.
So she had sacrificed in order to be able to give me these.
So it was your turn to up your game.
It was my turn. These were going to get home
Yeah,
with me.
yeah.
With me. Now, as the ensemble and we were filing through the security checkout line, I decided that I should discard the jewelry box and walked about 20 feet to the washroom to drop the box in a garbage bin. By the time I had returned to the security line, all of my fellow dancers had cleared. My initial attempts to explain what had happened, that I had gone to the washroom, was unheard. The staff insisted that everyone had already flown away. Zhelitale. I still remember those words.
Yeah.
Zhelitale. Well, that was impossible because we were usually bussed to the aircraft that was nowhere to be seen, but were heard taking off and landing from within the airport terminal. These women were speaking to me in Russian and then in Ukrainian, and motioned me back to back to the check-in desk. And my efforts proved hopeless, and I knew that I would likely miss that flight. A serious matter because we were informed at one point that one would need to wait 1 year to 2 years to secure an airline seat. I felt frustrated, annoyed, and disappointed, but not anxious or frightened.
Your adrenaline was kicked in.
It kicked in, and I never lost faith. I resolved and was determined to meet my colleagues at the Hotel Rusalka in Moscow for the one overnight before the British Airways flight to London, then home to Winnipeg via Toronto. Thank goodness that I had my Canadian passport and my ticket, and knew which hotel in Moscow we were staying in for the majority of the Ukraine trip. These items were kept by the ensemble's designated local tour guide, who accompanied us everywhere and seldomly shared details about what was happening or not. She was the one often controlling this information. Once again, I repeated my story to the staff at the check-in desk. They took my documents to a room behind the desk, and I was told to wait in the passenger waiting room. The wait, which was hours, seemed endless, but I was patient,
Yeah.
optimistic, and hopeful about reaching my goal. I waited, and I quietly prayed that everything would work out. At one point, a staff member from the check-in desk called me up and began speaking to me in Polish.
Polish.
But I told her I don't speak Polish.
But your name is Swiderski.
My surname from my paternal heritage is Polish. She returned my ticket and passport, and I was told again to wait. My opportunity and turning point occurred when, during this endless wait, I overheard someone say in Ukrainian to the staff at the adjacent check-in desk, "Tourists from Toronto. Turistas Toronto." I walked over to her, discreetly explained my situation, and asked for her help. Once again, I was asked to wait. She came to me after a lengthy period of time to say that I would be flying with them on a commercial flight to Moscow.
Oh, so this is a tour group from Toronto. Okay.
And I'm thinking, there's hope.
Yeah.
I was assigned a seat in a different area on the plane than these Canadian tourists. And a peculiar young woman of similar age as me, and seated next to me, was fluent in English and very curious about who I was, what I was doing in Ukraine, what pocketbook I was reading. And my instinct said she was likely a KGB agent, and I conveniently feigned the need to sleep to keep her from interviewing me. In the Moscow airport, the tour guide with the Canadians from Toronto came to me and said I would travel with them to their hotel. One more step.
Nice.
Once we arrived and they got off the bus, she came to me and said that their bus driver would take me to Hotel Rusalka, where Rusalka was spending the night before our leg home to Canada. I trusted that driver would take me there, and he did. I offered him $5 Canadian as a tip for his kindness.
Nice.
Arriving at Hotel Rusalka, I was met with some of our dancers who were picking up their luggage and checking into their rooms. Comments I received were, "How come you got lost in Moscow airport?" Almost with indignation,
Yeah.
but likely joking,
Yeah.
that I couldn't manage to stay with the group.
Yeah.
Apparently some dancers were puzzled as to why my suitcase was the only one left to be claimed in
Right.
the hotel. I replied that I didn't get lost in the Moscow airport, but that I was coming on another flight many hours later from Kiev. Of note, throughout this entire trip overseas, we were assigned a fellow dance buddy
Buddy system.
to encourage everyone that they were accounted for and no one went missing. So much for being accounted for by my fellow dance buddy, who shall remain nameless.
Nah, she's already confessed.
But I'd call her Brenda Gorlick before the flight left Kiev. Nobody knew that I wasn't on the plane, including our local tour guide,
Yeah.
Natasha.
I can't remember. We just called her Ilsa.
Ilsa. A priority for me was to speak with Ben Huack, chair of the board, and asked someone to take me directly to him. He was still in the hotel restaurant and asked for him to come out to meet me before I went to my assigned room. When he did, he looked surprised, worried, and relieved, gave me a huge hug, and we cried together.
Nice.
He said that he was afraid that he had lost me,
Yeah.
implying that I may never be seen again, given the oppressive political circumstances controlling the country at the time.
And before we had left, he had to promise many parents that he was going to bring the kids home.
Indeed, there was worry.
Yeah.
There was worry from our families saying, "My gosh, you're taking a big risk here."
Yeah.
And they were, but they had a plan. I hadn't fully appreciated the seriousness of my circumstances in terms of risk to my safety and ability to return home again. My colleagues, when they learned that I had arrived, were extra careful not to let me out of their sight for the rest of the journey. That afternoon, Taras, you took me by the arm when a small group of you dancers went to explore the beautiful mosaics in the Moscow subway system. And I felt a sense of support and being cared for by these fellow members at a level that I had yet to experience as a new member of the ensemble. Whether it was the quality of food, I mean, who knows what kind of mystery meat we were served
Yeah.
in that gravy, the stress of this denied flight from Kiev, or other factors, I became very ill for the flight home and the next month or so, losing approximately 30 pounds.
Wow.
I was so grateful for the dancers who gave up their airline seats that evening so that I could lay down and be near a washroom for the overseas flight from London to Toronto. I was checked out by the Travel Health Department on arrival in Canada and stayed in touch with my family doctor after a month. These friendships and shared experiences as fellow alumni have bonded us for life.
Amen.
Amen.
That's nice, Linda.
And I'm here.
Here we are. And so that you know, there were at least 5 people who swear they saw you on the plane from Kiev to Moscow, which obviously made things even worse. Because some people were, no, Linda's here. We saw Linda on the plane. So that sort of diminished the panic that, well, maybe you were here.
Well, Taras, and I'm so grateful to hear that after
Yeah.
how many years now?
Yeah, no, you weren't
Somebody-
completely forgotten. It was a bit of a confusion because
Yes.
some people actually
Yes.
swore that they
Yes.
saw you on the plane. But yes, Brenda has made a full and complete confession. Although you should know, as I said to her, that perhaps this was revenge, because she was also your buddy, and apparently when we went to Kanyev, we left her behind, and left for the restaurant. And of course, she didn't speak any Ukrainian whatsoever.
Yes.
Perhaps her forgetting you was a bit of
A bit of,
payback. She denies it, but who knows?
well, whatever way, I'm just glad we're both back.
Yeah.
We're both here
Happily ever
to
after.
share this story. So.
Я раненько, мене чіпився дивний сон. Проснулися мені гармати гранати, аж холєра раптом очі відкрив. А у кухні яма глибока, хтось написав: це не Європа. Ще і крали моє мистецтво. Подумав собі, це можливо є пекло. Збуди своїх дітей та жінку, маленьким тихо я так сказав: не плачте, але скажіть мамі, москалі у моїй хаті. Тікли швидко зі села, сіли в човно, добре, що були весла. Подала бабця свою рушницю і поплили на границю. У місті тільки закриті банки, а на майданах всюди є танки. Щодня військова порада, яка ж це сила, яка ж це влада. Лідери, вожді, президенти і міжнародні парламенти, всі щасливі, всі багаті, москалі у моїй хаті. яскраві полум'я рожеві стали перед хатою, ледь вже й нема. Залишився попіл і жовта трава. Заживемо разом у палаті, по москалі в моїй хаті.
Soviet Union, you had to declare, and they kept tabs of all the currency that you had, and you couldn't leave with more currency than you went in, and so I take it that you had to spend something.
Yes, one of my cousin's husbands dealt on the black market for us, so now we have all these rubles, and it's the last day, so.
Yeah. So we have to get rid of the rubles. So we went to
Probably to the goon store.
Right. And we were just buying anything we saw, chocolate, champagne, whatever, just to get rid of all the rubles.
Yeah. And I think my sister, sounds horrible, but Patricia even threw some rubles away at the airport because didn't want to get caught.
I tell about, trading soccer jerseys and jeans and you get all these rubles now.
Yeah.
We could do it.
Oh yeah,
I understand you had a really interesting experience with one of the customs official as we were leaving Kyiv and coming home.
Yeah, I was putting my stuff through. He was checking everything. Actually, I had a beautiful bag, a woven bag by Romaniuk, and that I brought, and they sort of cut it open to make sure that there wasn't anything inside, let it through, there was nothing there, and then he said to me, ще не мерла Україна. And I said, ні, ще не мерла, здорова. And I walked by and I thought, I'm going to get arrested.
So do you think he was being cynical, supportive, or was he being a wiener?
A wiener.
Okay.
I think so, yeah. I was just, because we knew that the soul of our people, our families, everyone was very, very positive about where they were going to be in the next while. They didn't think, they were so happy to know that this Moava and religion and everything that we did in Canada was very honest, truthful. They knew that we were trying hard.
Well, it gave them hope. It gave them hope that there was stuff happening in the diaspora.
Gave
Yeah.
them hope. And we saw that difference. And they knew that underground, but they heard it from us.
Right.
So when he said that,
Це правдиво, yeah.
it was Stendemel.
We invite you now to stand in solidarity with the Ukraine nation and its people as we play the Ukrainian national anthem.
might find